good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Josh. How you doing?
I'm excellent. It's the Arizona All Access Show for you again this morning. And this week's guest,
Well-Dressed Wolves.
hey guys.
One of my favorite bands ever. I'm serious.
No, they're honestly,
don't lie to me.
I'm not
We're gonna-
bullshitting you.
We are thoroughly displeased that you interrupted our evening.
so first off, before we go
In the morning,
It's the morning.
nonetheless.
It's the morning. So just remember, it's Friday morning right now, about 8.
And
8 o'clock.
hopefully you guys will do a few songs later.
Exactly. And that's what we need to tell everybody is watch till the end because we got 3. They're going to do 3 songs for you live.
Probably 3. I'm not sure yet. This is the Arizona All Access Show. That's
guys,
what I do
that's
know.
what I have to put up with right there. It's all right.
What we do.
It's all good.
I deal with it. I put up with it, and we do it every week. Well, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
That's kind of weird, right?
Oh, man. You got a booger in your eye.
All right away. Let's introduce ourselves so it's not any more awkward. So we'll start with you, Mr. Gabriel.
My name is Gabriel. I play drums.
My name is Lewis. I'm the bass player, and I'm the lead singer.
Oh, yeah?
You're like me.
I'm Travis. I play guitar and actually do
You do
lead
sing.
vocals. Yeah.
I'm the theoretical lead singer.
You do backups. You sing some shit.
Well, right on.
It's legit. These guys kick ass.
Well-dressed wolves.
And I bet you, we've had this discussion on so many shows, Josh's band cannot do Sweet Home Alabama.
No,
if
we don't.
somebody writes it on the back of a $100 bill. But I goddamn well, no, you will. Because I have.
Oh, if someone writes, wait, hold on. Let's just be real clear about this. If it's on a $100 bill, we will play it in some way.
I know,
it won't
but-
be what you would normally hear.
But
We won't.
you won't
Yeah.
do it.
Our
We
thing-
refuse.
Well,
our
you guys
thing-
are, see, that's what I always said. Nick's a whore, but you know.
I know. You know the verses, though.
Doesn't matter, man.
No.
We go.
I know, I'm
those
telling
those
you.
people that show up who are just they want to be annoying,
Yeah.
so they go Freebird.
Oh, I give him a free bird.
Freebird's different than Sweet Home Alabama. Let's be real
okay,
here.
but we
It
get
is.
Freebird.
Free board's a good
free
tune.
board.
Free board,
Yeah.
free room and board.
The surfer tune from the 50s.
We
Dude.
get Freebird a lot more than we do Sweet Home.
Really?
And so I'll straight up tell people, if you give us $150, we'll do it right now.
Pull it off.
Yeah.
You gonna do the slide part and everything?
So you,
Oh, yeah.
so you just said you do whore yourself out then.
for the right
I
money.
never
mean,
s- I'm not going to say I don't.
The price is increasing, though. So
Yeah.
And to be
we're
fair, it's
expensive.
more than 100. It is 150. There's 3 of us.
Correct. Yeah. 50 bucks each.
50 a piece.
That's true.
It's fair.
But before the inflationary times we live in now, it was 100 year or two ago.
Right.
Pre-COVID price. All right.
Yeah. So we've been talking about that, and we think all bands need to have paper clips and little pieces of paper with the mark with a Sharpie. And if someone wants to request a song, that's fine. Attach it to whatever tip you're gonna do. Put it in the tip jar, and maybe it gets played, maybe it doesn't. But at
See,
least then you
that
have a shot.
concept's more whorish than what you accuse
But Nick,
us.
yes, but I didn't say we were gonna play any of them.
But see, the thing that I want to do is that when it comes to a song like Freebird or just one of those songs that gets yelled at, you know, it's like I want to have like access to like some sort of like, you know, player like on Spotify
Just
or something
play it.
like that, and just plug it into the PA and then just play it. Then the 3 of us will just sit at the front of the stage and just
Yeah, we'll wait.
and just let the song play.
You don't want to like fake it like you're doing
Take
it.
a mind to it.
Mind to it, like Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters in Beach Party Bingo.
Amazing band.
guys
One
kick
of our
ass.
biggest influences.
Classic.
I like
Classic.
the bass player, which is the only name he had in the movie.
TV player.
I don't know,
TV.
but we started right away with whoring ourselves out. That
But it's
was the
part-
first thing we started talking about. What's
It's-
wrong with us?
It's part of the real deal, though. People who've played in bands for generations.
It
Your
is.
dad, right?
It is.
Right.
It is.
First guy you ever played with, what was that like? That's where your music turn on was.
I
as
mean,
a kid.
that was my experience into everything. You know, my first gig was with him. I was 8.
Danny Rhodes, his father.
That's right. That's right. Arizona Blues Hall of Famer. Yeah, my first gig was with him when I was 8. It was in front of my elementary school, in front of my peers. You know, my whole family was there, and yeah,
cool.
that was a really special time. My first bar gig was when I was 11, and that was with him. And yeah, everything I know.
I could see 11. You got the facial hair by 11,
Oh
12.
yeah. Oh yeah. The dark. Peach
Not all of
fuzz.
us are Italian, Nick.
Yeah, but he couldn't get in a bar when he was 8. That was a
No.
little tougher.
11. Yeah.
No.
11, 12.
You gotta be like you gotta be
Pubes.
past dwarf status, like
But really, 11
3
years
foot
old,
11
5,
years old.
and you're good.
There's a really great story. He had an acoustic show playing at the Spirit Room in Jerome, and it was just going to be. And he brought me to the show, and the owners at the time were very much like, "No, he's not coming in to play."
Yeah.
And he stood his ground and said, "Well, if he's not coming in to play, I'm not playing the show."
Classic.
So they let you play.
And they try to do the thing like, well, he can set up outside of the door and play.
Oh, how silly.
And he started packing up his gear right then. They're like, okay, fine, he can play on the stage, but during the set breaks, he has to step outside. And that ended up being the deal.
And during the set breaks, he's got to step outside to have a smoke on the sidewalk.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Not in here.
Not inside. He's got to go outside and smoke.
Yeah. Crap.
Jeez.
That's cool, though. That's pretty early. I mean, we've talked to people. Justin Hitson played with his
seemed
dad
to
when
be
he was
about
17.
13, 14
That
years
is
old.
the youngest I've
so
ever
far,
heard of.
that's the youngest.
Even
Yeah.
in my personal life. Youngest I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I was 17, 16, 17.
So Nick,
Sorry.
so we used to, we correlated that with puberty. Remember?
That's right.
So maybe Gabe was just a young early bloomer.
You bloomed early.
Did you have like a beard when you were like 11, 12?
12.
I mean, maybe.
So there you
little
go.
bit of hair you
Explains
put-
a
Yeah,
lot.
he had hair.
Explains.
Chest hair and gold.
Yeah.
chain.
Okay, so
I had hair.
that explains a lot.
I mean, you weren't Gino Vanelli or anything. I'm just saying you might have had some hair that you used mascara to highlight when you were 12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so
Gino Vanelli, a 70s guy, hair coming out, pubes coming out, his shirt with his gold chain.
Amazing.
I think he might have been Italian.
Right.
I'm pretty sure
That
Right.
sounds.
it's possible.
Sounds like it
That
could
tracks.
be. Yeah.
That tracks.
No,
could be. It
But
could
what about you, Travis? I mean, your time of coming out of music, first exposure.
Yeah, let's
How
make sure we're
old?
really clear about that.
You have something you want to tell?
Tell us.
You
This
know
show,
Lay it all out, Trav. Come on.
this show goes every direction.
it can go any direction tonight.
Any direction, every time.
No, seriously, when you first really picked an instrument up, started playing with it.
4.
Okay, then we can't use that now. 4 years old.
Yeah, I got one of those little sort of toy guitars.
Cool. Plastic strings,
Yeah, pretty
4
much.
strings.
Yeah. And
Roy Rogers special.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go.
And so as I got older, graduated to a nylon string, slightly larger guitar, and then started taking some lessons, learning some chords.
When did you take lessons first time?
Oh, man, I was probably 6 or 7.
Wow. You've beat a
You
lot of
are now
people.
the youngest.
You are.
Travis from
We've all talked about that range of
WDW.
11 to 14, 12, 13. A lot of people, my experience, his experience.
Nick liked to correlate it to the, when you can actually start playing with something.
Well, no, it is.
Yeah.
It's directionally hormonally involved and coincides, coincidentally, with masturbation in that point.
It's very sexual.
It's sexual.
I don't know. Nick went there and everybody was like, okay.
I got to say this, Gabe, when you were 7 or 8 playing at the school, had to be instant. Wow, this kid's cool, right?
He was a sexual dynamo.
Yes.
That's when Gabe came out of the closet.
Well, he had his chest hair and his gold chain already by that
No,
point.
but seriously, kids in school obviously
Bling.
looked at you differently and said, damn.
I want to make one quick mention that I forgot to mention a little bit ago. This is a little bit of a downer, but there was a third musician there that was at that show, and it was a dear friend of ours by the name of Teddy Rocha. He was an original member of Combo Deluxe.
Yeah, everybody heard that.
Yeah, he was a legend in the Arizona music scene. He recently passed away. And
I'm sorry.
I'd love to give a shout out to his family. He was an incredible human being. But yeah, he was a part of that show. And for a solid week, I was like not made fun of. I was not like the fat kid that made fun
a
of
week.
for like a solid week. And then everything
Then it
went
went
back to normal.
right?
Right.
You
And
just
everything went
needed-
back to normal.
You need to do another concert.
But
Follow
yeah.
it up.
Yeah,
every month.
once they forget, you got to play again, right?
Gotta keep
Right.
the momentum.
Can't play every week because then they won't show up. But then,
So
Right.
you really started taking lessons 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
Continued and wow, that's pretty young.
Yeah, but as far as like actually playing in front of people, it's probably older than Gabe because you were 8, you said.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
young. I mean,
That's
What about you, Lewis?
Lewis, you're up. Grab the mic though so we can hear you. Pull it towards you.
Ooh.
Look at see
All
it.
right, there we go.
It's appendage.
That's never gonna go away now, right?
Looks like I have some experience. No, I didn't start playing until I was about 17, 18.
You can, don't worry, you can still hear us without the
If
headphones.
you guys put your heads together and do this,
Right.
It's not like there's a secret conversation going
No,
on.
this just opened up a whole nother spectrum of sound.
you can hear Gabriel's Barry White voice.
That's just for Lewis right there, buddy.
Oh my God!
And if we
I
want to
never
laugh at
get
you,
that at shows.
I don't know where's the laughter at.
It's more like that.
That's better, right? Yeah.
No, sometimes it shows.
See, now Travis doesn't have any idea what we're doing.
It's really cool though. You're missing out.
We should just do this too.
Yeah, right.
That was hilarious. Give him the headphones.
So what? What age?
Yeah, I was about 17 or 18.
Wow,
Yeah.
late bloomer.
Yeah, I was a little bit of a late bloomer. I did sports and stuff in high school, and Trav was. We've been friends since probably middle school. And one day he was just like, "Hey, man, you want to learn a couple songs on bass and be my bass player?" Because you can find guitar players everywhere, but not really a lot of dedicated bass players.
Yeah.
He's really
He's
thinking,
true. That's
I
true.
did this shit on 6 strings. I know you can do it on 4 and kick ass. I mean, as a guitar player, I play bass too.
Yeah,
It's definitely a cool concept.
just not as good as bass players.
Right. Not as no.
Yeah.
I like bass players because they're in my section. I'm a fellow drummer like Gabe here. And so
rhythm.
So we like the rhythm section.
That's right. It's the back.
Yeah, see that guy, Travis is giving me a thumbs down. I'm like, well, what the hell would you do without us, dude? You'd be out of rhythm.
He'd be up there with Acoustic doing Margaritaville.
He'd still be kicking ass.
I know.
See, it's a joke because they can live without us. We can't live without him.
That's right.
I always tell John that. I'm like, John, I always tell our singer, I'm like, look, here's the deal, dude. He's like, I don't, well, we're only doing this as long as you want to do it, because if you don't do it,
Keith and I
no
are
one's
going
gonna,
out.
Right.
everyone's going to be very disappointed in the show.
Well, shit.
Keith, the bass player, and I are going to go do a show.
Yeah.
Doom, doom, doom.
I always convince myself that, we don't really need the guitar until the guitar goes out on a show and it's just Gabe and I, and it's like, oh no.
We need that guitar. Or you can't hear the guitar all of a sudden. We're
Right.
trying to play the song.
Right. It's like, oh no, what happened? This sounds terrible now.
I mean, the vocals and everything, too. I know I'm envious of Gabe's range because I'm always here. But
It's a good place to be, though.
yeah, I
You
know.
know,
But Travis
sometimes.
singing a lot of the stuff. Did you do that coinciding with when you learned guitar? Was it instantly, hey, I'm learning this song, so I'm going to learn the words and memorize these verses and knock it out?
It took me probably 6 years to learn all the lyrics in order for Come Together.
Oh, 6 years for one song.
No joke though.
Sorry.
Like
For real. I mean, to
6 years.
perform start to finish, all the lyrics.
I've still got cheat sheets just in
Yeah.
case, for certain songs. I mean,
Good
most
to
of
know.
them, most of them are
The
good,
Book of
but
Wisdom.
I always, that's,
the Bible.
it's confidence monitor. I call
Well,
it.
yeah, it's
Like John uses the little iPad with the lyrics. And
Well,
stuff.
it's evolved to that. Years ago,
Yeah.
you used to have like a music.
No,
right?
we
You're in fucking
start with the music
junior
stand.
high band?
Yeah, you start with that, and then I went.
1 second.
Well, I went no way, dude.
It's a literal dictionary.
We are
It's
not-
just all the stuff.
and we should be nice because there's some people who haven't quite graduated.
Doesn't matter though. The
But-
YouTube. What you kids call the interweb? No, the iPad thing clamp on the mic stands.
Yes.
So covert. But no shit. I played in so many bands where there was that black music stand with the big book. Here, shake it.
Hold on a minute. Let me find that song.
Put them in alphabetical order. That kind of thing. But so that's a common thing amongst people. But there really is a difference of learning your first cowboy chords in the first position, twinkle, twinkle, little star, so you know the notes and all this stuff. But when you realize the continuity of verse, chorus, verse, lead,
Songwriting,
and
yeah.
performing it,
Yeah.
it's a whole different animal than strumming the chords.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's why I never figured out how to learn how to play the guitar, because I didn't start with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
you got to know the notes up the neck and every 7 frets. So you're like, you know the drill. It's like it helps.
What did you start with?
I don't know. Something a lot more.
You were always
complicated.
drums though.
Yeah, no, that's for me. It's always been drums.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, you're like, oh man, it'd be really cool to be a guitar player. It'd be
Right.
really cool to be a bass player.
But you know why? Because bass players and drummers get girls, but guitar players,
No, it's the other way around.
They
Stop.
have their pick.
Let's be real about that. There's jokes.
I saw
Plenty
it
of
on a
jokes
bumper
about that.
sticker. I saw it on a bumper. Give me the. So Every guy gets a girl, but
wait, you want this?
guitar players,
There it is.
guitar players have their
guess what?
pick.
Guess what? That's
you very
drums. If you didn't notice, that's drums. Oh. It's not a guitar going. Ding, ding. No one made that joke. Well, it's always drums.
we could go through the drummer jokes if you want.
Drummers or bass players. They're always looked at that way, but seriously, everybody does know that controls everything. The beat of the dancing, the movement, the vibe.
Well, I know this much. If I train wreck a song, the song's train wrecked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, Gabe? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah. We train wreck a song. And you know what?
That's true.
There was a show not that long ago where I was like 3 beats off completely on the intro,
awesome.
like from the
Yes.
onset.
That was
I
amazing.
completely missed the pickup from Trav's guitar because he kicked it off, and I was just way in another lane.
Yeah.
And we had to restart the song.
Oh,
in front of everyone.
That doesn't happen often.
It's like, oh no.
That's like the most dreaded thing.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to. I mean, these people come out to enjoy music.
No,
so you
they're-
bet you get it
Dude,
right.
they don't
you
care.
know?
They don't.
They really don't.
They
He
don't
coulda-
care.
he
You could have
coulda
kept. You could have kept playing off, and no one would have even
nobody
known.
would have noticed.
They'd have been like, "Well, that's an interesting version of this song I never heard before."
It's organic.
Yeah,
It's just jazz.
Well, it's like on the
Anytime
back.
you
They
mess
wouldn't even
up-
know though. They wouldn't have no clue. They wouldn't know how to explain it. They'd
You
just be
could
like,
throw
"Wow,
jazz out there."
sounds a little different, but
Yeah.
it sounds awesome."
Jazz Odyssey.
It's good enough for
No,
jazz.
this is really how it goes.
Yeah,
I
somebody
swear.
would have come up to you after the set and been like, "Dude, when you played that song, that was the coolest way I've ever heard that song played before." And you're like, "Okay, yeah,
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. What you heard was a train wreck.
And you guys can attest to the fact that the shit we hear on stage, third, fourth set,
Oh,
no idea
No
out
idea.
there.
No.
But you guys are going, dude, what the hell? They had no idea.
Well, that's kind of the hidden language amongst bandmates, right? When you're playing a song and someone screws up, and you can look at each other and go, "You screwed up. You screwed up."
Unless you play in bands with those guys who looks at you and goes, the fuck, man?
No, see, that's when you got to get either that guy out of the
Get out
band
of there.
or be in a different band because
Exactly.
it's-
Out of there.
You can't be that serious about it because you play that long. Now, okay, don't get me wrong. If I'm playing an hour and a half show, I better get everything right. And I have original songs we're playing. I get that, right?
If you're
But
lucky enough to play an hour
when you're
and a half
playing
show,
when you're playing 4 hours and playing freaking 50 songs,
there's going to be
you
some
know,
shit go down. Yeah.
yeah, it's things you're gonna get, and you're learning new songs every couple of weeks, throwing some new ones in that you don't do this for a living, so it's not like you can go rehearse for 8 hours a day to learn songs. You know what I mean? And so you get together, like we'll get together, we'll learn 3 songs, we'll play it at practice just from listening to it, and we're like, oh, that's cool. We'll play it Saturday. We play it Saturday, and sometimes it comes out really good, and sometimes it's like, well,
Takes a couple times.
that wasn't bad for the first time playing that song,
Right.
but everybody's like, that's the best song ever. I don't know.
You guys are going to get signed.
It always seems like the first time you nail it, and then the second time it's a train wreck, and then you don't play it again for like
terrible.
6 months.
Yeah.
But then those third and fourth times, kill it.
Yeah.
But that's something that's
Just gotta
important
keep
when you
playing it.
mention about attitudes towards mistakes and the
Exactly,
basic
dude.
shit we do. The longevity and family feeling or brotherhood, that's what I want to talk about with you guys because I've talked to you. You've been together playing, tell them how many years.
18 years.
No shit. That's
Wait.
like since you.
I don't know what that
No, but seriously,
The crowd was cheering for you guys. Yeah.
It was applause.
It was applause.
that's a huge thing is since you were children, literally young adults, that's a huge thing. I don't
18
know
years.
anybody else. I've been together playing with people 8, 9, 10 years. Part of what we have with 5 in the or
You see?
with our
Well,
wheelhouse, Becky and I, about 9 years.
in the wheels.
but 18 years since you were developing, you developed the craft together. That's a huge thing. And you can hear it whenever you play.
was. I can remember 7th or 8th grade going and staying the night over at Trav's house, and we had a little cassette recorder thing, and we were recording stupid little silly funny songs on it all night.
With you on bass and playing guitar,
Oh no, we were just
singing.
whatever, yeah.
They're terrible.
Yeah, they're
they're
terrible.
bad.
But they still exist.
Well, that's cool. to
That's
have.
cool.
Maybe one day we'll release them
No.
once we've
No, it's it. Well,
passed on.
once put it in like a vault
No.
and say burn this.
Well, someday, if need be,
Don't
to have
open this,
those is-
burn this.
is
I would
valuable.
delete that.
We have a song
Yeah.
about like farting cows that I really think could crack the top 40.
Did you have the consciousness of A-B rhyming patterns? I mean, was there some continuity
with
to
the
the
farting
structure?
cows. Heck yeah.
Did you go at verse, chorus, or did you just start
It took him a while to get there.
the concept?
Songwriting progression.
It's tough when you're doing it with a guy since he was 6. So it's like,
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in this band.
Whoa. I didn't say I was writing songs when I was 6.
you were taking lessons though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
That means a
It means
lot.
I learned some chords.
No,
I don't know. When I was
Okay.
6, I don't think I could read. So I don't.
I was when I was
My
6.
sweat socks.
No. You're done.
When I was 6,
Microphone's
Just got
mine
cut
now.
off, dude.
Microphone's mine now. You can take Gabe's if you want to talk.
No,
See, that's kind of like a gig, right? They don't give you a mic.
Oh, we do.
I've heard him sing. Right? I've heard.
Sometimes I am known to sing.
I've heard Lewis sing a song. I happen to walk in one of these times after a gig or catch you guys whenever I can, and I've heard you sing a song.
Yeah, it's usually it's a special treat for everybody.
Is it one or two in a night?
That's kind of like when I sing,
You know,
honestly.
it's usually one.
Okay.
But I've
And
been,
Gabe, you sing like a songbird. What would you break up your breakdown? Do you sing 10 of them a night? Do you sing more than that?
I mean, I would say like on average, it's probably between like Trav and I, maybe like 60-40.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Like
though.
him
Trav,
doing
Literally
most
that
of the
many
night.
songs.
that helps you a ton,
That's
probably.
not percentage. That's songs.
Yeah, it's 40 songs
we
a night.
do
you do 60.
110 songs a night.
We're playing for 9 hours tonight, just so you know.
No, but that's a big deal. You carry a brunt of it. And there's times when you all of a sudden, like summer comes along, and before you know it, you're playing 3 or 4 gigs in a weekend. You're like, shit, man.
No, that's true. We talk about that a lot.
That's a lot to handle. But having 40, nearly 50% of
Yeah,
songs
that's
covered,
huge.
and then your one makes it almost half the songs
well, my one makes it a real show.
because
Yeah.
it counts for like 5.
That's like when I sing. They don't let me sing often, but when I do, it's a show.
No, but it gets to be a task. What do you guys?
It's a moment.
It's its own show when I sing.
Right.
What are you guys doing this weekend? How many gigs you got this weekend? Let's say coming up. Today's Friday, so we're talking Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do you got going on?
It is Friday.
It's Friday, so
October 12th.
you guys playing this weekend?
We have 3.
3 gigs this weekend?
14th.
Holy.
Tonight we are at
I don't know
Mooney's.
what day
Okay,
it
let's
is.
talk about this. Okay, you guys be quiet over there.
I've never played Mooney's. Where is it exactly?
This is in Sedona. Mooney's,
Okay.
Mooney's Irish Pub, playing there tonight. And then tomorrow we're going to be at also back in Sedona at the Posse Grounds Park doing Oktoberfest
It'll be outside,
outside.
undercover. Hopefully, we have an outside gig with Wheelhouse at a private party.
Nice.
There's a chance of it's going to warm up for the next 3 to 5 days. This weekend, we're going to see a possible return of some moisture, but only 20 to 30%. After that, we're going to level off into a drier time. Continue.
And then
weather report. Sorry, just again, this is what I deal with, guys. It's all right.
It's good. It's good.
But outside gigs are fun. Go ahead.
And then show number 3, Sunday, we're going to be at the 1012 Lounge in Clarkdale, afternoon show.
I know Lori McDonald's played there a number of times. What do you like about that place? I've never played there, and I kind of want to go over there with 5 people in the band. Sometimes difficult, but you like those places?
The 1012, it's a cool hang. It's kind of a classic place. I mean, I remember it when it was like a super divey bar.
Like it was an 8-10, but now it's a 10-12.
Now it's a 1012.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, hold on.
yeah, okay.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, it's a nice
Get
hang.
that on cue better next time.
Yeah.
Good crowds. Good crowds show up.
Good crowd. Yeah, good crowd show up. A lot of fun. The energy is really nice over there, and yeah, it's a nice little hang.
Do they do afternoons and evenings or
Just afternoons.
afternoons only?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just afternoon shows there. And then going back to Mooney's, that's a fun place. It gets pretty wild over there. Stripper pole.
In Sedona.
Yeah, in Sedona.
Wait a second. Wait, we don't care where. Stripper pole where?
It doesn't matter where, Nick.
Center
It
of the
doesn't
dance
matter
floor.
where.
It is right in the middle of the room.
Have you ever seen any train wrecks occur with some
With the stripper
person
pole.
How
trying
long do we
to-
have?
Yeah, absolutely.
How
Stories.
long do we have?
Oh my goodness.
There's always that drunk chick who's going, wee, and then bam, head on the ground.
Yeah, a couple times.
Some dudes, everybody wants to get the pole.
They try to do that gazelle like swing on it, and you just see them.
Is it Gazelle or Giselle?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. It's that.
It's all the same.
It's the same.
It's the same shit.
It's
I get it.
It's Giselle.
It's Giselle.
I've had too many vodka
Wow,
sodas.
that's cool.
It depends on the part of the night.
Yeah. If it's like the end of the night, then it's
Oh, yeah, it's game
it's got to
over.
be
Right.
awesome. I mean,
I can do this. It's fine.
All the
I
friends
can
are like,
do
no,
this."
don't.
Don't
I can. Wham.
Wham.
No, but that's in Sedona.
Yeah.
Cool. Because, see, a lot of people from that area, Cottonwood, Camp Verde, Sedona, will come here. But a lot of people here need to know there's cool places to go and hang over there.
Sedona. Like, I would never have thought. They
I know
had
there's
such
a couple
cool place
places.
in Sedona.
What was the other one? Is that the hotel Soundbites? They have music sometimes.
Yeah, there used to be the
Get that
old
mic
Sedona
closer
as
to you
well
there.
that we
Come
used
on.
to play
I
at
taught you already, didn't
for
I?
quite a while, but
The what?
They just recently shut down the old Sedona.
Old Sedona.
Old
Yeah,
Sedona.
and that was a good place to play, but they're not around anymore. So now the only game in town is really Mooney's.
There was a place years ago called Sean's. This was in the late 80s, early 90s. It was in that shopping center, I think, where Safeway might be, and it was a big club. We played there once when I had a band called my brother and I and Al Bounty Hunter. We kind of kicked ass on Molly Hatchet stuff. So, anyways, the weekend before, a guy had showed up and go, we played here last weekend. A guy showed up and wanted to sit in on guitar, and the guitar player didn't want him to. So I told him who I knew it was. I said, let him play your guitar, and I'll play bass with him. And this guy says, no, I want you to play bass, and I want him to go, and I want to play his guitar. This man's name, Joe Perry, from Aerosmith, whose mom and sister at the time lived in Sedona.
Whoa.
And I'm like, why couldn't it have been this week? We were there. We could have done Train Kept a Rolling or some shit, and he could have
Right.
played guitar. But nonetheless.
Didn't let him play?
Sean, no. Well, the guy didn't know who he was.
Didn't know it was Joe
recognize
Perry?
him. I guess.
How do you not know?
Right?
Wow, you feel like a real
I think it
asshole after
would've-
that. dude.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, seriously.
I think it would have been more fun to kick Joe Perry out of the band.
Joe Perry.
You suck. Get out of here.
Kick him out of the band. Get out of here, Joe.
Bring him
Joe,
up on
you suck.
stage, mid-performance.
Let him play, then tell him,
suck.
get off the
Get
stage.
out of
You
here.
suck.
Stop it in the middle of the song.
First, you're like,
You'll
Joe,
never be in a band.
Get out.
Joe, you got any?
Oh, you know he has that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, Joe, you want to play something? And after the gig, you're like, Joe.
Hey, Joe, you still here?
No shit, though. But that was Sean's, and this was back in the late 80s, early 90s. There's a place called the Laughing Coyote, which is now a nursery.
I remember that.
Laughing Coyote.
I remember the
Played
Laughing
there
Coyote.
a couple times. I met an Indian shaman who told me his future and my future at the same time.
They tell you be hosting the Arizona All Access show someday.
He said, well, I feel your wife thinks with her heart, you think with your head. Whatever. It was like
with my head too. I mean, never mind.
Wrong
Let's not
head.
go there.
Right. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
Sedona does have a couple cool venues in Camp Verde. The 1012, I want to check out. I'd love to play there. And like I said, I've seen you guys post. Lori McDonald's played there a lot. So that place does only afternoons. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit here. I want to know your guys' musical influences because I come watch you guys and I'm like, I know that. I love that. I love that. I think one time you guys were playing in Jerome up there at the
Spirit
Room.
Spirit room. Yeah.
And this is the first time I ever saw you guys. And we park and I hear freaking, I don't know what it was. It was like U2 or something. I don't know. Do you guys play any U2?
We don't.
No, it wasn't U2. It was like, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But I was like, oh, that rocks. I gotta check that out.
Well, what I can say about these guys is I
Hold
always
on.
admire.
Not done yet.
Finish
Jeez,
your
Nick.
thought. I talk a lot.
Gonna make me have to cut to your camera and back to mine. It's a lot of video editing, dude.
Go ahead.
So, so we run into the Spirit Room, and then I was like, I was amazed at the variety. Like you guys just play like stuff from all over, and I was like, wow, these guys have some variety.
Your flashback to 1978.
Dude,
Paul
and then
McCartney.
it was like 82, and then it was like 65, and then it was like 91, and then it was like
And freaking Travis
So-
is yelling out "Band on the Run" and some shit. You're like, well, how old were you when that came out?
no,
it
but-
doesn't matter because that's what you're getting to.
they're mature
genre
music
of
souls,
music.
dude. That's why I want to know some of their
Exactly.
influences and like how they started playing this music because it's not every day you see younger guys like yourselves playing.
What are you,
the variety that you guys play?
19, 20 years old. I mean, this is that, those kids
They've been
these
playing
days.
18 years, Nick.
19
They're
and a
not
half.
2 years old when they started.
Well,
we
he
know
was
that.
6. He was 4.
So they're like,
No, seriously
27.
though, you definitely the genre because you guys know you're playing to those people out there, and it depends on the crowd. So it might be different nights, different crowds.
tell us about
What's
it.
some of what's your dad obviously influenced you, and you heard music since you were a little boy.
Well, I mean, big time. I mean, like for me, and I think the same can be said for these guys too. We were lucky to have parents that were very open about us rating their record collections. And I think collectively, the Beatles is number one
Right on.
for sure. And then from there, it's, the Who and
That's what it was. You guys were playing the Who.
Zeppelin and
The Beatles, were they
Yeah.
an English band?
Swedish.
Yeah.
Swedish? No. Oh, that was just before ABBA. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Some people would say they're the original ABBA.
That's some would say.
No, honestly, for me, it took a while to get.
Sorry, I had to
there
put
was-
that in there. Yeah.
I thought you were going to be quicker on the draw with that.
I'm a drummer, dude. I'm always off time.
I don't think they should be sitting together.
Nah. How did that happen?
Some kind of secret code.
No,
I
but
don't
seriously,
Code
you were
talkers.
exposed. A lot of it comes from parental.
Well, for me, a lot of it was actually country initially when I was really young, and kind of transitioned into rock with the Beatles and with Creedence actually, and from there I found. I mean, the way I got into stuff was kind of all over the map. So I mean, you'd have Beatles and Creedence, and you'd have Fleetwood Mac, just totally different eras.
Yeah.
And then, going back and listening to radio and finding Motown and then going from there. So it all just kind of became less about country, which was kind of the last gasp, I should say, of like sort of neo-traditional, probably early 90s.
When the country started to
90s.
become country rock, kind of got that
Yeah.
edge of rock stuff.
Shifted a
Yeah,
little,
so
yeah.
it was...
Southern rock was evolving. Allman Brothers, Skinner, this kind of
Right.
feel. Molly Hatchet, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and then getting into all the classic stuff from there and just really seeing how different everybody was, but how, again, probably coming back to structure, like we were talking about, like learning guitar, learning chords, learning structure, song structure. There's so many.
That's a big deal to make. The structure of that formula where it's verse, chorus, verse, bridge, lead, chorus, out kind of structure. Like guys like when you mentioned Creedence, John Fogerty was a
Right.
god of that. Bob Seger. People who come out with songs and know a formula that is what sells, but yet do it on a value that's really cool and not poppy.
Yeah, and there's
Right.
a lot of them that do things pretty differently. You look at Beach Boys. I've always been a massive Beach Boys fan. You can't really say
Right here.
that's,
Yeah.
all of us. Yeah.
and I'm talking like Pet Sounds On. I'm not talking surf songs.
I got to say this. Paul McCartney and Brian Wilson met after the Beatles did Sgt. Pepper's and was talking about it. The next album the Beach Boys came out with was Pet Sounds because Paul talked to him about all the, the fifth Beatle, come on, their sound engineer guy.
I'm the fifth Beatle?
No.
I had no idea.
You guys, I was asking a
In
question.
person.
It was like a question.
George Martin.
Thank you very much.
I thought you were about to say Jeff Emmerich
Or
He
Billy
was-
Preston.
because he was very important.
Billy Preston was
Too.
later, but still, George Martin, the
I thought it was Eddie
production.
Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live reference. No, but the production value of what he added with the big strings, the big multi-tracking, and all that. The next sound after they came out with Pet Sounds after they had talked. How many vocal tracks would you guess are on the song "Good Vibrations"? Take a
A
stab.
ton.
Well, first off, it was recorded in like 6 different studios. Just the vocals.
But just really because the amount
Right.
would make me believe that. I didn't know that.
No, I mean, honestly, they did everything in sections.
There's 36 or 38
Yeah.
vocal tracks only, so that would make sense. Later, they had ideas and added "Waking Up, Good Vibration." You know what I'm saying? It's like, so that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
The structure of music, the production, and the way it was made is a huge thing of what influences us because that's all designed by hooks and different things to
Right.
get the listener.
and
Well, then
having like the mindset to think on that level of layering, of just piecing together such a mammoth piece.
Well, that's when-
within a 45.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got 3
Yeah.
minutes tops.
I was gonna say within a 3-minute song, there's so much going on, and you still listen to it to this day. It's just
It's still to this day.
How? How?
Les Paul was one of the first guys of multi-tracking who realized how to ping pong everything on one track, and now I can do 2 more. Till the 4-track came along, the 8-track, 16, 32.
Right.
Those pioneers, but the Beatles, the Beach Boys, all these guys existed when that was happening. So how cool to be on the ground of that. And we're still listening to that shit 50, 60 years after going, the kids know this music because it's the value.
Well, and then nowadays with all these remasters coming out, they're actually able to pull out all the individual parts from those bounced over tracks and really enhance them,
That's cool.
Which is crazy.
Love that. So go ahead. I don't know if you even remember the point you were making, Travis.
I think we're just talking about musical influences and
So I mean,
the variety and
and then you get something like the Who, and you Won't Get Fooled Again, and it's 8.5 minutes, and it's synth driven,
or Tommy
for the time, or Tommy. So there's a lot of stuff to really sort of get me beyond the initial sort of country, and I listened to classic country, Statler Brothers, and
Is that right?
Johnny Cash, and before Johnny Cash was like a trend,
Right.
that was back
Before he was cool.
back when he was still kind of like, well, I don't know if we should give him a record deal, like
Get rhythm.
Yeah.
Everybody get rhythm.
But to go from that, I mean, there's strong melodies and strong structures to that I was always drawn to. But then this whole world opened up with rock. So since I started listening to rock, all of a sudden, hey, it was cool if we listened to the oldies station.
yeah.
And
That's all we had in Northern Arizona.
right?
Or KZGL or something like that. Or
KDKB.
Remember that back in the day for me, it was all classic rock. I can remember working with my dad, and I'm from Southern California. I moved out here to Arizona, 92 it was.
Wow.
And all there was classic rock. It's fine. It was fine.
What
but,
else do you need?
But that's what was on the radio. No, and that's what was on the radio.
No,
and it was
seriously.
all this stuff, and it's all good. I mean, it's not.
And it was at a young age, so it influenced you in that way to go, go
absolutely.
to that, what you dug and what was cool. And there was a reason you loved it.
So
Well, and what brought us together at the end of the day was like, okay, well, we were all sort of going through this massive Who phase. So it was like, okay, well, let's get together and just kind of jam. And Lewis had just started playing bass, so he started listening to a lot of. After playing bass for a little bit, he started hearing the bass in everything he was listening to.
And if you're talking the Who, you're talking John Entwistle. And sometimes you hear shit in your
stuff.
head turns
master.
like my dog does when I say, you want to go outside?
what?
Right, so
Subconsciously hearing it.
John Entwistle was awesome.
within a year or two, all of a sudden, it was like he's starting to play like that. So we're like, okay, well, let's start playing some Who, because we did some Beatles stuff initially, and we wrote a lot of stuff initially that we were doing, and then we started branching out to things like the Who and the Stones, and just stuff that we were familiar with, having heard on the radio.
Yep.
And
Also, to quickly add, around the time that we formed was it was 2004. It was around that, like what you would call like the garage rock revival era. I mean, it was Kings of Leon and the Strokes,
Sure.
and the Hives and the Vines and Secret Machines, and there was a bunch of bands that were popping off at that time.
Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters.
Yes, and that we were all equally influenced by, as well as the classics. So it was a lot going on.
Isn't it
at
a
that
special
time.
feeling when you're that age and you start doing your own shit and you do a couple things that you're like, that is awesome.
Right.
That's it. I think that's #1 hit song.
Until you listen back to it a couple years later and, ew.
It's still the time it happens gives you that spark,
Right.
and you chase it till
I don't
till
know.
you're an old man.
So for us, it's like we recorded stuff way early in an original band. And me and John, we record it, and you spend so much time recording it, and you're listening to it over and over and over and over.
Right.
And
Doing
then you
it
put
20
away.
times.
Then you put it away, right? You don't listen to it for like 15 years. You pull that shit out, you're like, wow, that's pretty good.
There's sometimes you hit
'cause
magic moments.
You just left it because you're like, oh, that's no good, man. But you listen to it 150,000 times in a row,
It's kind of magical.
Remember those days, though? You record something and like burn it to a CD, run out to the car, put it in the car, see what it sounds like.
So you play it in the car.
Run into the stereo, play it in the stereo.
still do that.
Right.
Yes.
You still do that.
That never changes.
That's awesome.
It never changes.
That's so,
cool.
because you got to hear what it's, and it's so funny because if it's recorded right, it sounds good anywhere.
Or
But
it's recorded well enough to hear later.
that was just my thing. I had no idea what I was doing. It's like,
who was it, Trav, that said like a good recording, like it has to sound just as good like in a shitty car stereo as good as it sounds in like a high
a hi-fi in your
Well,
home.
Was that
Whoever's trying to
studio.
sell records. Yeah,
Right.
they're trying to sell records.
It's got to sound good on like everything.
that was Foo Fighters.
That was Foo Fighters.
Yeah, they were mixing a record, and they went to the guy with the shittiest
Stereo.
car stereo, the guy with the greatest car stereo.
Is that a Dave Grohl story?
That's right.
Car.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's right.
I mean, it's gonna sound. It's gonna sound better,
We got to say this because I've always loved this
but it's still got to
concept.
sound good for the guy that can't afford to have the awesome stereo. So it's still got to.
I want to interject before my mind wanders. The Dave Grohl concept of when he had the first album's idea in his head, he laid the drum tracks down first because he knew the structure, verse, chorus, change, where he's going to do his fills. Then he went and put the bass in and then put the guitar in. Dave Grohl is one of the coolest songwriters of our time that we saw develop out of the Nirvana concept.
Yeah.
And now looking, going, oh, Kurt, you fucked up a little bit, but what am I going to do? Turns out he is awesome. Dave Grohl is awesome.
Gifted.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, man. To lay down the drum tracks.
Extremely
Gabe,
gifted.
Gabe, drummer.
Drummers are so important.
I mean, he plays guitar too,
Oh, he does well, but I'm saying,
but
drummers.
he's a drummer.
And Taylor Hawkins. I mean, to see what
Yeah.
they developed
Rest in
into.
peace. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys want to play a guitar? I can go grab one.
Yeah, well, we
guys-
could
Give it a
play
shot.
it. We can play it. I don't think you're gonna like what you hear. No, but I could strum the
See,
hell
and
out
that's
of it.
what separates them from Dave Grohl.
Yes.
Just a little.
Well,
Dave Grohl has his pick. True story, though. That's a good concept to think of. The writing and structuring. But again, I always tell people when I talk about you is when I first learned that you guys been together 18 years or 17 or whenever 15, when I talked to you some years back and you told me, I went, that's cool, because I have buddies who live back in Illinois. My friend Ed, best friend since 6th grade when we about first started taking guitar lessons. Grew up till we were 18. I'm 17. I moved to Arizona. He went to the Navy. But we had some magical time there between that age of 11 or 12 to 17 or so that went, let's get a bus and just say, fuck it, and go on the road. And if we would have done that, the experiences, timing is so important to that. We talked about it a little earlier. You guys talked about, we just want to get a van. Get some cots. Let's go camping and go to Sturgis. You guys have played there. Tell us about some of the places you played when you were in a stage where you're traveling around a lot.
Yeah, Sturgis is probably the main one. Yeah, we got really lucky with that show, actually. We played some guy's hot dog stand, believe it or not, in Black Canyon.
it's all who you know.
Bub's hot
Oh, yeah, it was
dogs.
I'm sorry, it was tacos. It
Taco
was
stand.
the Chihuahua Chill Grill.
That's way sexier than hot dogs. Actually, they can't both exist without the other. They're both sexy together. If I sold hot dogs
Much
and
better
tacos,
timing.
I'd be a millionaire.
Right.
Let's work on that.
Thank you
Go
for
ahead.
the anatomy lesson.
Oh,
Yeah, we played some guy's taco stand, and he told us, he asked us if we wanted to play Sturgis, and you kind of hear that stuff all the time. So to us, it was like, yeah, dude, sure, here's our information, and if not
thinking-
expecting
Right.
anything.
Not thinking anything
Right.
of it.
But then lo and behold, a week or two later, we got a call from him. We were playing the Birdcage, actually.
Yeah.
I remember it. We were in the alleyway of the Birdcage, and he was like, hey, the stage manager from the Buffalo Chip is on the other line. Here, talk to him. Don't accept anything under such and such price.
Not to be disclosed at this point.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
It wasn't enough.
Yeah,
he's like, don't take anything less than $300, dude. Don't do it. There's three. You need to get at least $100
Trust me,
each.
I'm a professional.
That'll get you gas to Colorado today.
But yeah, and we got on the phone with him, and we hammered out a deal, and it was like 2 weeks before it even started. So the whole thing felt like a fever dream. While we were driving up there, we were questioning if he was even a real thing. Like, are we gonna show up there?
Show up and they'll be like, who are you guys?
Yeah, who are you guys? Get out of here,
That's cool.
We don't really look like the biker type either. So
Yeah, you'd be out of place a little, like, without a gig. It's like,
you kids, get out of here.
why are we here?
Right.
When was this? How many years ago?
This was like 2013.
2013,
I think
yeah,
was the
okay.
first time we did it. And we got there, and they let us in. And
We had equipment.
Step one completed. Check.
But the trip there was hilarious, man, because I had to borrow a van to get up there because we couldn't fit everything.
Y'all
And
squeezed in one big van.
it was a Chevy 30, so it was a big red cargo van that had rust everywhere, and like you rub against that thing, you would need a tetanus shot.
You guys had like tetanus shots in the glove box just in case.
It was pretty bad. Yeah, we had them on quick draw in case we needed them. But and it had a breathalyzer in there,
Like leftover, like
yeah,
You mean like you had to blow to start
I
it?
won't disclose whose
van
breathalyzer it was, but it was somebody's close to us.
Somebody wasn't drinking
They're
at
like-
least at some point.
they're like, whatever you do, don't drink
Right.
and blow into my
Or
breathalyzer.
find
Sturgis,
somebody
don't drink.
Don't
yeah.
drink.
find somebody who hasn't drank.
Right. So man, we took off in that thing, and it was a cool van. It was big. I mean, the door fell off on us at one point, but it got us there, kind of.
Wow.
We made it to Colorado, and the transmission went out, and we had to drive the whole way there in second gear.
This was on the way to
On
it.
the way too, yeah. And I remember calling my dad, like, I don't know what to do, man. Like, we're stuck in Colorado right now. Like, I think it was like Henderson, Colorado. Like,
But we were in Walsenburg.
Walsenburg, yeah, right outside of what was the Trinidad? Was that outside of Pueblo? Yeah.
AKA the middle of
a
nowhere.
good ways in Colorado.
yeah.
There was no hiking it back home, and he was like, "Just do it, man. Just go."
Get a rubber mallet and bang on the
Best
tranny
advice ever.
pad.
Just go, man.
Just keep it going. And
That's cool.
worst case scenario, if we have to rescue you, we'll rescue you. Well, we made it, all while driving 55 miles an hour and blowing into a breathalyzer the whole time. Yeah.
And would you camp out there, sleep in the van, pitch a tent?
Yeah. I slept in the van, and they had some tents, and it was like right by the main road where motorcycles were going by.
It was
all day.
Sturgis. Did you guys see boobies at all?
Did
Yeah,
we?
there was a
Copious
there
amounts
was
of
a good-
boobies.
There was a
Did
few.
we?
good amount
They're
of
like,
movies there.
"Ah,
It's
yeah,
either
right."
Mardi Gras beads or Sturgis. You're going to see some boobies. Cool.
But
You'll
yeah,
never
it's-
forget that the rest of your lives, that experience, and that's important.
No, it was a crazy trip, and and it was a blast when we got there, and we immediately got to play on the big Wolfman Jack stage, and
Wolfman Jack, hey baby, come on out and play some music.
the first day we were there, we were only playing bars at that point. 3 years in, I think we started in 2010,
cool.
so it was a pretty monumental thing, and we were on that big stage, and I remember just kind of plucking along and looking over and seeing myself on this giant screen next to the stage, and it was just like, nope.
Boner.
That was too real.
How
You're
cool.
like, oh,
But we
we
got
are
to
doing
play
this.
some of the biggest shows. We got to follow, I think the first night we followed Queensryche, and then we
Really?
did followed Toby Keith and then Leonard Skinner the next night.
Separate stage.
Yeah, separate stage. The way it was set up is they had the stage called the Kinnison stage, and it was by the only exit to the amphitheater. So when they let out the big stage,
had you guys- that's cool.
everybody funneled
Stopped.
towards that exit and
Right.
stopped.
Yeah, because they don't want to leave.
Yeah,
Perfect.
right,
They
yeah.
keep
They
partying.
just want to party, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It
Good
didn't,
marketing.
it didn't get crazy until after
The main act
stage
was
left.
done.
Were you
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
till like 1, 2,
Yeah,
3
we
in
were
the
playing
morning?
till like
Oh,
1
yeah.
or 2 in the morning. Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
And
Were
it was,
people drunk? Were they drinking some?
Actually, no. It was. It was,
It's
all
it was
pretty-
a
Christian group.
It was a very clean crowd.
It was the
it was a dry.
It was
event.
a Youth for Christ jamboree.
Oh,
like mineral waters. Everyone was really pumped up on.
serving water.
But how awesome is that? You will never forget that till the day you die. Those
Oh yeah,
those
and
visions.
we got to play there 4 years in a row before we decided that I think we're done driving all.
Because
that
I remember
distance.
talking to you later, and it would have been 2018, I don't know, when you had just done it again. So when you first said 13, you said you did that for 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
That's when I talked to you about it. You told me about tent camping and the whole party bit
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
when we ran into each other. That
And
was cool.
and we met Cheap Trick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have met
Yeah.
Cheap Trick, Rick Nielsen, and Robin Zander. They're from Rockford, Illinois, around my parts.
And I totally clammed up when we went to meet them.
You fanboyed it?
We had some dear friends there that got VIP tickets. They're good friends of ours. They're a Seattle band called Colossal Boss, and they're like veterans of the Buffalo Chip, band thing.
Sturgis
Yeah, the
experience.
Sturgis experience, and they had been there for years, and they had gotten hooked up with these VIP tickets. They knew that we were big Cheap Trick fans, and they were like, "Here you go, here's these VIP tickets." So yeah, right right when they were going to play, we got to experience this like VIP meet and greet thing before they went on. And in my mind, I'm like, we're going to be cool. It's going to be all, I'm going to be calm. You know, they're just four guys. They're just four guys. Right. And I get next to Rick Nielsen, the great Rick Nielsen, and he magically produces these picks in his hand, and I immediately just go,
Yeah, they just appear. It's not like
they just appear. Yeah.
I got a pocket full of these here, kid. Take one of these, kid.
Yeah.
And he looks at me, he's like, are you guys in the band? And I'm trying to like talk. I'm like,
It's like one of those bad dreams where you need to run and your legs don't move.
yeah, exactly.
You turn into Paul McCartney or Chris Farley interviewing Paul McCartney.
It was
you
literally
remember,
that.
You remember Budokan?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Remember that you got the guitar with 5 necks? That's
Yeah,
cool.
That's awesome.
Well,
It
No
was, it was
shit.
totally that.
That's awesome.
that's a great story.
Right.
That's one of the best stories we've heard.
That's awesome.
And some of the people we've talked to, that's a classic one.
Well, hey, Nick, it's time for us to wrap up the shindig.
I
So
want to stay here all day.
I know we would talk all night long if we could, but
We're having so much fun.
I know.
Can
it's a
we order
blast.
sandwiches? Because it's almost noon.
But this
now
is
on
what we're
Friday.
gonna do. We're gonna let these guys, Well-Dressed Wolves, play some songs for us.
Ooh, you
So
guys gonna do
everyone does
anything original? You do covers? Because they're covers like I do covers, but I know you got some originals.
Yeah, we're gonna do a couple of our own tunes, and
Cool.
then probably a cover, and
Right on.
call it good.
Right on. Well, hey, check it out. So if you want to see what's going on in town, go visit Spotlight on Prescott on Facebook. This has been the Arizona All Access Show. We'll put some links together for our buddies here and everything else.
Right before we go, is it cool if I plug a few things really quickly?
absolutely. Plug away.
So we have a big show coming up on December 29th. It's a Thursday. It is the Rhodes Summit Review. It's a big show that my mother Veronica and myself, we put on. This is our 9th year doing it. It's a big night of music in remembrance of my father. And we're going to be playing it, and we're going to be joined by Prescott alumni, a dear friend of ours, Nick Cannuel, who's awesome.
Nick's awesome.
He's amazing. We have Big Daddy D and the Dynamites. They're going to play.
Daryl.
Yeah, we have Toucan Eddie, and we have the Naughty Bits. They're going to be at the show too.
And where is this at?
This is going to be at the main stage in Cottonwood. So Thursday, December 29th, please mark your calendar. We have original music available for purchase. It's at welldressedwolves.bandcamp.com. Go check it out. You can listen to it and download it. And then follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/welldressedwolves. We upload all our shows and events and all kinds of cool stuff. And then we're on Instagram. Our handle is at WDWBandOfficial. So
It's on the internet.
go follow us.
Isn't it?
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Well,
Really, this has been one of the funnest times.
yeah, and the OnlyFans.
oh, yeah. OnlyFans.
Right.
You guys are horrible.
Very tasteful.
Very
stuff we
tasteful
have
stuff you got there.
on
At
OnlyFans.
Wolves in the Buff.
Wolves in the buff.
Tasted.
Wolves in disguise.
Thank you guys so much for having us on the podcast.
No, thank
This
you.
has been so much fun.
We appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us. And the whole purpose of this is to allow fans and people in the music community to get to know our local acts a little bit better. And hopefully they enjoyed spending some time with you guys tonight or this morning. And with that, we're going to wrap this thing up and let you guys go play some tunes.
Cheers.
Sweet.
So I'm Josh, and this is
Nick.
and we'll see you next week on Arizona All Access. Enjoy these guys.
Rockstar Group. Ow! Ow! Nobody howl.
All right, this is a song called "Vanity Is a Sin." They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I'm not sure about the things I've heard. Vanity is quite a sin to behold. Your beauty is bought and sold. Your beauty is bought and sold. They say a picture always tells a tale. Nothing
This next song is called Don't Spare the Horses.
Stuck in a dried out county, trying to toe the line. Well, I scrape for every dollar, just do it for me and mine. One more day without her, and I swear I'll go insane. That's when I got a message and set out on my way. Set out on my way. Said, don't spare the horses, just make your way back home. I can't bear to be without you when you're out there on the road. Said, don't spare the horses, well, I need you by my side. Well, I'm slowly going crazy, yeah, so saddle up and ride. Rain had started pouring while I was crossing the state line. I knew I was getting closer, but I was running short on time. Well, out there in the backwoods, they don't like no city boys. They're always causing trouble, but my will they can't destroy. My will they can't destroy. Said, don't spare the horses, just make your way back home. Can't bear to be without you when you're out there on the road. Said, don't spare the horses, well, I need you by my side. Well, I'm slowly going crazy, yeah, so saddle up and ride. Our mountains will not stop me, rivers I'll go through. There's nothing that can keep me from coming home to you. Oh yeah. Said, don't spare the horses, just make your way back home. I can't bear to be without you when you're out there on the road. Said, don't spare the horses, well, I need you by my side. Well, I'm slowly going crazy, yeah, so saddle up and ride. Saddle up and ride. Saddle up and ride. Saddle up and ride, yeah.
I saw ya.
Thank you. Thank you very much, one and all. I will.
Consign the boss. I make the rules.
By the way, this is Louis Oceanlane on bass. That's Travis Eaton on guitar. My name is Gabriel Rhodes. We are well-dressed wolves. Thank you. This is a song by Badfinger. It's called No Matter What. No matter what you are, I will always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do.
Tell me